My father, Abani Sen, who was a painter in India, he also had an art school. And my brothers and sisters and myself learned painting from him along with his students. My father had this belief that you really had to surrender yourself to the object in order for you to understand the true nature of the object. So we used to go out quite often to study animals or landscapes and trees, and he would constantly tell us to totally surrender ourselves into that object and become that object. I remember this day very clearly. I was about 8 years old, and my father said he was going to go to an animal sanctuary to paint wild buffaloes and not to worry about him if he didn't return, because he was going to spend overnight and then come back the next day. But on the third day we began to worry. Then finally we heard some rustling outside the door, and we all anxiously ran to the door and saw my father standing outside waving back and forth with his arm full of drawings, and kept muttering to himself, "I can't get through these doors. My horns are too big and I will get tangled up." So we realized what might have happened. He was delirious. He probably hadn't eaten for 2-3 days. He had totally transformed himself into wild buffalo, including the big horns, and now was having difficulty readjusting himself to his old self. Essentially what I learned was that you really have to surrender yourself to the experiences of life and nature. But at the same time you have to pull yourself back and have the objective distance so that you can create and transform that experience of life into art. Because there is a clear distinction between the experience of life and making of the art, which becomes another object.